Hello students, good afternoon to all of you. I welcome you all to this smart class GST in India, a simplified overview part 7. You know that UGC is planning for conducting various exams as soon as possible, so be prepared and plan your lessons accordingly. Don't spoil your time. So without further delay, let us begin with today's class. The contents of today's class is we will learn today HSN code, which is very important to know, GST code, meaning of TI and TIN, and GST network. So these are the terms commonly used: HSN, GST code, TIN, and GSTIN. So over and above GST rates in India and abroad, we will glance through the rates simply. So let us begin with the first slide. Glancing through the GST rates in India and abroad. Here you see Singapore 7% flat rate, Japan 8%, Australia, Indonesia, Korea, Philippines 10%, South Africa 14%, Ghana and New Zealand 15%. There are 4 rates: Canada 5 and 15%, Mexico 16%, China, Israel 17%, Germany 19%, UK, France 20%, Spain 21%, Italy 22%. That there are 4 rates, and Denmark and Sweden 25%. So while glancing through the world rates of the GST, we see that starting from 7 to 25, it is a rate starting from 7 and highest rate is 25. So you can compare our India's position with the international world level rate which is applicable in the various countries of the world. So it is a standardized rate. Okay, so let us see the India's position so far as GST rate is concerned. Now you see, in India you see the rates has been defined. There is one is nil rate, then there are another rate which is merit or lower rate. We call merit or lower rate means for the very common people, for the very low graded people, poor people, this type of rate is applicable. And there is another standard rate. That standard rate is applicable for the middle class of people. There are 2 standard rates. One is 12%, another is 18%. We will go through later on. First you see that standard rate is for middle class family, and there is high rate that is for the rich class or the rich people. So rates in India are not a particular or a fixed flat rate is there, but in India we have various rates: nil rate and lower rate, standard rate, and higher rate for the rich class. Now we will study one by one. Nil rate, we call nil rate is also known as 0%. Nil rated or 0% goods, that is in case of fresh milk, curd, fresh fruits, vegetables, egg, fish, meat, salt, natural honey, newspapers, Kazal, Sindoor, Bindi, Bangles, grocery, food grains, Atta, dal, rice, etc. If not branded and not packed, then GST is not applicable. Stamp paper, jute, grant furthering services, education, health services by government, etc. Under this category, question of input tax credit does not arise because it is nil rated or 0%. So question of input tax credit does not arise. So this is the nil rated goods. Now you see 5% GST goods: tea, coffee, spices, kerosene, medicine, ice, pizza, bread, train ticket, small restaurant having no ITC. If 5% is applicable, then house, flat, direct on sale without ITC, footwear below rupees 500, tailoring services, old 18%. The tailoring services earlier there was 18% rates, but now it is 5%. LPG gas cylinder, old rate was 18%, now it is has been reduced, and namkins, old 12%, now it is 5%. So in this way, these are the 5% category goods. Now you see 12% GST goods. Water bottle, where earlier rate was 18%, now it is 12%. Packed food items, umbrella, sewing machines, cell phone, mobile, spectacle, construction of building for sale with ITC. If you want to take the ITC benefit, then the rate is 12%. Without ITC, the rate was 5% in the earlier slide you have seen. Butter, ghee, cheese, card, carom, chess, ludo, exercise and notebooks, food and drinking services at restaurant, non-AC, no liquor license with ITC. That means if a restaurant, non-AC restaurant without any liquor services, etc., then this 12% rate is applicable in case of food and drink services in such restaurant. Cinema or movie ticket below rupees 100, work contract, state lottery, printing work, etc. In these cases, 12% GST is applicable. Now you see, next slide you see 18% GST goods. Laptop, computer, camera, speaker, monitor, CCTV, UPS, TV set, top box, ball bearing, exhibition, conference, outdoor catering services, circus, theater, drama, work contract, bamboo furniture, second-hand car, ice cream, steel product, soup, biscuits, food and drinking services at restaurant with AC and liquor license with ITC. That means in the earlier slide we have seen that 12% rate is applicable in a restaurant, but in case of non-AC and without liquor. But if AC and liquor license is there with ITC benefit, then 18% rate is applicable in case of such restaurant. Now let us see next slide. You see here 28% GST goods. 5-star hotel accommodation, luxury hotel rooms, branded clothes, AC, TV, fridge, heater, washing machine, paint, vehicle, automobiles, credit cards, ATM, gambling, race, club services, sports events like IPL, pan masala, tobacco, dye hair dye, shampoo, deodorant, shaving cream, aftershave, casino, water park services, etc. So these belongs to the 28% category. So we have seen that there are nil rated, there are 5% goods, 12% goods, 18% goods and 28% on the luxury items. So various rates. Over and above you see here, next slide, zero rated supply. This is very important to know, dear students. You see that earlier you have got nil rated or 0%, but it is neither nil rated nor 0%. It is zero rated. So don't confuse it. It is zero rated is different. Any export of any of the above categories of goods outside India or sale to special economic zone will be treated like export and no GST is levied on such goods. That means if you make an export supply or any supply to the special economic zone, that is SEZ zone, then in that case no GST will be levied. So these goods of any category, here you have mentioned it is a specific economic zone or export goods to not on services but only on goods. So on any export supply you see that there is zero rated. That means there no GST will be applicable. But this may be any category. It may be 5% goods. It may be nil rated goods, 12%, 18%, 28% category. But if it is export supply, then it will be treated as zero rated good, because to promote the export, government has made this type of provision. So under this category, seller, supplier, exporter is allowed ITC benefit. You see another important point here, ITC benefit is also given, allowed to promote the export. But it does not mean you can see in the slide nil rated or 0% category. So don't confuse that 0 rated and nil rated 0% are same. These are different. Nil rated and 0% are different. The rate is 0%, rate is nil rated. But here 0 rated, the rate is not 0 rate. But because of export supply and because of special economic zone supply, it will be treated as 0 rated supply. This is over, I think. Now you see there are certain special rated goods like jewelry. In case of jewelry, there is 3% rate is GST is applicable, and on certain precious stones, 0.25% GST rate is applicable. So in this way, we can say that there are various rates of GST applicable in India. So we have come across a picture of world level GST rates and along with the Indian context the GST rates. Now let us go to the next slide. Meaning of HSN. You see, HSN means Harmonized System of Nomenclature. So it is an 8-digit common product code number. It is a 8-digit common product code number. It is a product code number that is international benchmarking by World Customs Authority. World Customs Authority has given a product code number as a international benchmark. So that is a 8-digit product code. Now you see up to sale 1.5 crore, no code is compulsory to mention. If we mention it is all right, no problem. But if we do not mention, it is not compulsory. But above 1.5 to 5 crores, 2-digit code is required. It is a must. Then above 5 crores turnover is there. Then 4 or 5-digit code is required. Minimum 4 digit is required, and for any export sale abroad outside India, 8-digit code is must. It is required. So what we come to know that HSN is a code. It is an international custom authority code. By using this code, product name is not required for goods sent, sold or supplied. Only code is sufficient to mention. So in the international level, if the code is mentioned, that by looking at the code, the product is identified, because there are thousands of products. It is very difficult to nomenclate the name of the product. So in that case, the code is used. So this is all about HSN code. Now go to the next slide. You see GST code again. Now you see GST code, it is a state code. Every state has been provided a GST code number. So in case of, you see, in case of interstate sale, when from one state to another state goods are supplied, then the in the tax invoice the state code is to be mentioned. So whenever you purchase any goods from another state, then the seller will ask you that from which state you belong. While recording your phone number and address, he will need the state code number. So this is a 2-digit state code number. There are 37 states in India, including union territories. So every state has got different code numbers, such as, for example, you see Jammu Kashmir has been allotted 01 code in case of GST, and for Himachal Pradesh it is 02, Punjab 03, Haryana 06, Delhi 07, Rajasthan 08, Assam 18, West Bengal 1919, and so on. So every state has been allotted 2-digit state code number. Suppose if you are purchasing a product from Delhi, from a supplier of Delhi, a customer of Assam is purchasing, then the Delhi supplier will prepare the tax invoice, and in the tax invoice he will write the code of Assam 18, because the buyer is from Assam. So this is a 2-digit state code number. So there are central database real-time information is recorded, and the information goes to at the 4 places: first to the supplier and receiver, transporter, and GSTN. Now let us see that out of these 4, what is GSTN, we will learn in the next slide. Here we come across the term TIN. That is, what is TIN? Taxpayer's Identification Number. Every taxpayer has been allotted an identification number, that is called TIN, in short. So it is applicable where first 2 digits are state code. In this TIN number, TIN number may be 13-digit code or 15-digit code. If in case of interstate supply, state changes, so 2 digit of state will come. So 2-digit state code and followed by 10-digit PAN number. So first 2 digit will be state code, then second 10 digit will be PAN number of a customer, then 2 plus 10 is equal to 12, and the last 3 digits of the dealer's registration code. So when a dealer is selling the goods to another dealer, so dealer's registration number will be in 3 digit. So total 2 state code, 10 PAN number, and 3 dealer's individual registration code. So total 15-digit code. And in case of intra-state supply, the 2-digit state code is not required. Then in that case it will be 13-digit number. So for interstate there will be 15-digit, and intra-state it will be 13-digit PAN based common registration number. So this is the tax identification number. Now you see TIN based system. Under the TIN based system, you can track your transaction. This is a TIN X SYS to track a transaction, and information network allows various states dealer to cross check the payment and other related information. So under the GST network there is a number of facilities are given. Now let us see that what is GSTN, that is GSTN network, what does it mean. In the next slide you go through it. GST network, it is a common electronic portal set up by the government to establish a uniform interface to facilitate all the taxpayers such as registration, return filing, tax payment, refund. All these can be done with the help of GST network. It handles all center state transactions and provides GST related service. All GST related service and center state transactions all are dealt with through the GST network. Let us see in the next slide also. GST network has been set up to provide information and technology infrastructure, because without information technology the GST cannot be succeed. So you see, to provide the GST services throughout the India, throughout the country, a network is required. So this is the center state government, taxpayers, all stakeholders will get this facility, and implement for the implementation of GST this network is required. It is not for profit organization owned by the center and state as well as union territories. Government and private players joined hands with the responsibility to build indirect tax platform to help to prepare, file, rectify return and make payment of tax liability, etc. So all things, whatever you want, any type of tax platform to help for preparation of any return, filing of return, rectification of return, for payment of tax liability, refund, etc. Everything can be done with the help of GSTN. It can be said that GST is a nationwide clearinghouse mechanism to facilitate transfer center state share of GST and allow ITC. So input tax credit facility is given and center state divides their share of GST. It is only through the GST network. So GST network plays an important role in case of GST, and you know that it is GST is completely is a computerized system. So without a proper national network, nothing can be achieved. So for the implementation of GST, this network is required. So in short, we can say that GST and GST network is one-step solution for all indirect tax requirement. So this is all about today's class, students. So I repeat once again that time and tide do not wait for anybody. So don't spoil your time, proper utilize the time, and don't make any excuse. Cheer yourself up in the present crisis. I am always trying my best to help you all the poor and needy students. You should also help your friends in need, and to subscribe this channel and to get the notification of the new videos. You can go through and put your comment in the chat box. Keep learning, keep loving, take care. Thank you. Bye bye.